Ladies and gentlemen, we'll probably take our afternoon recess for break around 3:15, thereabouts. May I call your witness?
Thank you, Your Honor. The defense calls Robert Baker to the witness.
Please swear the witness.
If you could please face me, and if you can, raise your right hand. Do you solemnly state that the testimony you may give in the cause now pending before this court shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you. And for the record, say and spell your first and last name, please.
Robert, R-O-B-E-R-T, Baker, B-A-K-E-R.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Baker, did you previously plead to first-degree murder of Fabio Sementilli prior to ever agreeing to testify in this case?
I didn't agree to testify, no. I did plead no contendere.
Before you agreed to do anything, did you come into court and plead to first-degree murder killing of Fabio Sementilli?
I pled no contest.
Okay. You understand that in a criminal case, that's the same as a guilty plea?
I
Is
do.
that correct?
Correct.
And did you plead no contest in exchange for any promise of leniency or any deal?
I did not.
Could you talk into the microphone, please?
I did not.
In other words, were you offered any reduced sentence or any other benefit in exchange for your decision or agreement to testify?
No, I didn't.
And do you understand that you were under no obligation to testify?
I understand that.
Are you doing so freely and voluntarily?
I am.
Has anyone offered you anything whatsoever for your truthful testimony under oath?
No. No.
After your arrest in this case, did you ever receive anything from Monica Sementilli, any benefit for coming in here and testifying truthfully?
No.
When you were originally charged, you were charged with Monica Sementilli. Is that correct?
Yes.
You see her seated over there?
I do.
Monica Sementilli?
I do.
May the record reflect that he has identified the defendant.
Yes.
You were arrested, as I recall, on June 14, 2017. Is that correct? On or about?
I'm going to believe you on that one because I actually don't remember the date, but yes.
Okay. We're talking about almost 8 years ago.
Yes.
All right. You remember that day? If not the date?
I don't remember the date, but I kind of remember the day, yeah. I do.
Okay. After you were arrested and brought to court, were you represented by attorney Michael Simrin? S-I-M-R-I-N?
Initially, no, but later on, yes.
Okay. So initially, you were appointed someone to represent you when you were first brought to court?
Yes.
But eventually was an attorney assigned to you to be your attorney throughout the proceedings?
Yes.
And was his name Michael Simrin?
Yes.
Did Mr. Simrin ever indicate to you that you could receive a lesser sentence or some kind of leniency if you agreed to testify against Monica Sementilli or identify the second murderer in this case?
Yes, he said there was a deal on the table. That's what he told me.
Did he tell you what the deal was?
He said it was 16 to life.
Second degree murder?
He didn't tell me what it was. He just told me that was something called a proffer.
Okay. Did you agree to do that?
No.
As a result, when you pled no contest or guilty in this case, you received no benefit whatsoever. Is that right?
Not at all.
It's correct, isn't it?
It's correct.
As a result, did you receive a sentence of life imprisonment without the possibility of parole?
Plus 25 years.
And is that the sentence you are now serving?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Did you ever make a request to any detectives who were talking to you or any prosecutor to receive a lesser sentence in exchange for your testimony?
No, I did not.
At the time you were arrested, Ms. Sementilli was arrested with you, is that correct?
Yes.
But the second killer, and let me preface that, you did murder Fabio Sementilli, is that correct?
Yes.
And did you do so with a second individual?
He went with me, but he didn't. Yes, he went with me.
Okay. And is his name Christopher Austin?
Yes.
You know that Mr. Austin, or do you know, has previously pled guilty to a lesser charge of 16 to life?
I didn't know the numbers, but I knew he did something. I didn't know too much of anything.
Well, did you know he made a deal?
Eventually, yes.
Before, as you're sitting here now, do you know that he's made a deal? He made a deal.
Yes, I knew he made a deal.
In exchange for his testimony.
Yes.
Before then, well, I'll get to that. So, at the time that you were originally arrested and charged, there were only two defendants, you and Monica Sementilli. Is that correct?
Yes.
And for a variety of reasons, the case continued for several years. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. Now, eventually, you pled no contest or guilty, as we said, to first-degree murder and were sentenced to life without parole. Is that correct?
Correct.
Do you remember approximately when that occurred?
No, I don't. I don't know the date. It was about a year and a half ago,
Right.
somewhere around there.
I have a minute, Your Honor. All right, I'm going to give you the date of July 7, 2023 that we have from the official records. Does that sound right?
I'll take your word for it.
Okay. But on or about that date, you came into this courtroom, is that right?
Yes.
With no prior agreement with the district attorneys, the judge, or anyone else, correct?
Correct.
And you entered your plea to all the charges you were faced with, correct?
Correct.
And then your sentencing was put over to give anyone who wanted to speak at your sentencing an opportunity, correct?
I think that was the reason why it was held over, yeah. I'm not sure. I wasn't told anything.
Okay. Well, you were in court when it was put over for your sentencing, correct?
Yes.
And you were represented at that time by Mr. Cimarron, is that right?
Yes.
And then your sentencing eventually occurred a few months later, correct?
No, it was kind of fast.
Okay. It was a few weeks later,
Yeah,
perhaps?
literally.
Okay. All this time you remained in custody, right?
Correct.
And at your sentencing, do you recall people making statements, how they felt about your case, including members of the victim's family, Fabio Sementilli's immediate family? You remember
Yes,
that?
I did.
You remember that?
Your Honor, object, every question is leading.
It is.
Okay. Did anyone speak at that hearing concerning what they thought you should receive as a result of your pleas?
People spoke, and quite a few people spoke, yes.
Did the two daughters of Monica Sementilli speak as well?
I think just one of them did, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, your memory's better than mine. After they spoke, you were in fact sentenced to life without parole, is that right?
That's correct.
And have you been in prison ever since?
I've been in custody ever since.
Let me just ask you, well, a few basic questions before we get into the details. Did you plan and execute the plan to murder Fabio Sementilli?
Yes,
And did you in fact do so?
I did.
And who was with you at that time?
Just Chris was. He was a lookout.
All right, we'll get to that. You see the defendant seated over here, Monica Sementilli?
Yes.
You knew her well at the time of the murder, is that right?
Yes.
Is it fair to say you were in a romantic or sexual relationship with her?
Yes. You could say that.
Was that true?
Yes.
Did she have anything to do with the planning or the execution of the plan to kill Fabio Sementilli?
No.
You're sure?
I'm positive.
Now, you have heard some of the evidence already against you in the form of what we call overhears, is that correct?
Yes.
Does that change your testimony that she had nothing to do with the planning or killing of Fabio Sementilli?
No, it doesn't change anything.
Does that remain your testimony under oath today?
Yeah, it is.
Let me get a little background from you, if I could, Mr. Baker. What's your date of birth?
5262.
And where were you born?
Europe, Germany.
When did you come to the United States?
I don't know. My dad brought me here, I guess, when I was like 3.
Okay, and where did you live?
Been all over the United States. I'm an Army brat.
And did you ever live in Fayetteville, North Carolina?
Yeah, yes, I have.
Where'd you grow up?
Kind of everywhere. Fayetteville was most of my childhood
Okay.
upbringing.
You had a father and mother there with you?
Yes.
Any relatives? Any brothers and sisters?
No, that's me. I'm the only child.
All right. And at some point, did you come to Los Angeles, California?
Yes, as an Army recruiter.
Pardon?
As an Army recruiter, I came here.
Okay. So were you in the Army yourself?
Yes.
For what years? You remember?
From 81 to 94.
So 13 years?
Yeah, 13, 14 years.
Okay. And what was the highest rank you received?
I was a staff sergeant.
And were you stationed all over the country or overseas or what?
A little bit of both. A little bit of Atlanta, Georgia, Virginia, all over the place. I've been a whole bunch of places.
Did you consider yourself a good soldier?
Objection irrelevant.
I hear it. So ruled.
I was considered one of the best.
And when you retired, at what rank did you retire from the
I
service?
didn't retire.
So you're still a member of the armed services?
No, I'm out.
So how did you leave and why did you leave? First, how did you leave?
I just.
Or
That's a
why did
tricky-
you leave? Let me
that's
start
a-
with why did you leave the service?
That's a tricky question, but I'll answer honestly. Since I answer it honestly, I caught another case, and I got put out of the military.
Okay. So let me ask you this. As you sit here now, have you ever been convicted of a felony?
Yes,
Can you tell us what felony that was?
I pled no contest to lewd and lascivious acts with a minor.
Minor being someone under the age of 18.
Correct.
Can you tell us how old that individual was at the time?
15.
Okay. And did you serve time?
I did.
When you got out, were you on parole?
Yes, I was.
You understood that you had and still do, I assume, a lifetime requirement to register as a sex offender, is that right?
That's the law.
Okay. And were you ever prosecuted for violating that law?
They chase me all the time. Yes.
Okay. And were you ever punished or sentenced for additional time for that?
I think I did 6 months. I think I did 6 months for time one time.
Okay. As a result of that conviction or those convictions, were you unable or were you discharged from the armed services?
Say that one more time.
As a result of the convictions, the felony conviction, were you discharged?
Oh, yes.
And what year was that about?
94.
Okay. And is that when you came to Los Angeles?
I was already in Los Angeles at the time.
Okay. And no longer serving in the armed services, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Can you briefly tell us what you did for a living, what your employment was after you left the armed services?
Well, after that, I worked retail, believe it or not. I worked retail, and after I got out of retail, I wound up getting involved in the entertainment business. Well, because it's going to come out anyway, the adult entertainment business.
Okay. And when you say the adult entertainment business, you're talking about legal pornography, shall we say?
Adult entertainment.
Okay.
Pornography is degradation. You don't.
Fair enough. And what exactly did you do in that field of work?
Well, at first, I was actually married at the time. Well, I was like in a domestic, and then I had.
Objection or non-responsive.
It is non-responsive.
What does that mean?
Just right.
So I won't make the same
Sir,
mistake.
just listen to answer his questions, please.
When did you first get married?
The first time?
Yes.
The very first time.
Very first time.
Back in 82.
Okay, you were still in the armed services?
Yes.
And you mind telling us the name of the person you married?
I'd rather not.
Okay. How long were you married to her?
4 years.
Okay. And who was your second wife?
I'd rather
Don't wanna
not mention
name
her
her?
name either.
Pardon?
I said I don't want to mention her name either.
Okay. Were you still in the armed services then?
Yes.
And you get divorced from her?
Yes.
When did you begin in the adult entertainment business?
In 97.
Were you married at that time?
No, not legally.
Did you eventually marry someone that you were going with at that time?
No.
Okay. So when you got into the adult entertainment business, can you tell us what you initially did?
I was a performer with my partner.
So you were actually in the videos that were being made, correct?
Yes.
And when you say your partner, that is an actress who was also acting in the adult entertainment business, correct?
No, we came in together. She wasn't in. We came in the business together, so she wasn't there working. We came in at the same time.
Did you bring her into the business with you?
We agreed to come to the business together. Yes.
Okay, well, you were a team.
Yes.
And how old were you at that time? About?
29, maybe 20. 30, no. 30, 31,
How old was she?
20.
Did you bring her into the business with you? In other words, she had to come with you as a team, or you would not have been hired?
I sort of came with her,
Okay.
actually.
And you were making movies where? Here in Los Angeles or Chatsworth, wherever they made movies?
Yeah. Yes.
And for how long did you do that, Mr. Baker?
I performed probably about 4 years, maybe 4.
All with her?
Most of the time, yes. Most of the time.
Did you ever get married to her?
We were married by, no, we weren't.
Okay. So after the 4 years, what was your next field of employment?
You should ask who she was.
You really
I'm
did,
going to object non-responsive.
What's his name?
I'm not sure I can do whatever you ask me to, but I'll ask you that question. What was her name?
It was the victim of my first case.
Okay, so without going into a lot of details, you originally had a relationship with this 15-year-old female, correct?
Yes.
You were charged and convicted of lewd acts or sexual acts with someone under the age of 18, correct?
Yes.
You served your time, correct?
Yes.
And when you got out, did you marry her?
We got together. Yes.
Did you ever get legally married?
No.
Okay. You don't want to state her name?
No.
Okay. So how did you live together?
Yes.
How long did you live together with her?
After that time, about 5, 6 years.
And where was this in relation to when you were performing as an adult actor?
In Los Angeles.
But were you living with her while you were performing as an adult actor?
Yes.
She was not your partner in that, or was she?
Yes, she was my partner.
I see. And eventually you split up with her, is that right?
Yes.
Okay. And did you leave the adult entertainment business at that time as a performer?
Yes.
Okay. This was all in Los Angeles?
Correct.
What was your next line of employment or field, your occupation?
I was a manager, a talent manager.
Okay. When you say a talent manager, was that for regular movies and plays or so forth, or was it still in the adult entertainment field?
It was both adult, mainstream.
Did you have a name of an agency? Did you work alone or what?
No, I worked with my partner. She was my partner in this.
Okay, the one that you didn't marry but had a relationship with.
Yes.
And what did you do briefly as a manager in this field?
We guided entertainers to get better jobs and kind of like a guiding people to get, what's a better word for it, more productive and more quality work.
And I assume you were paid for your service.
Yes.
You got a commission on there.
I'm going to object. All of these questions have been in reading.
Sustain.
How were you paid when you were in this field?
Through commissions.
Okay.
Through commissions.
And how long were you a manager in the adult entertainment business?
Probably the entire time, almost 20 years.
Now, did you manage others besides performers in the adult entertainment business? I mean, other than pornographic performers?
Adult entertainers,
pornography?
yes.
Did you manage individuals who were dancers in strip clubs or nightclubs?
No, not really the strip club thing. Like artists, musicians,
Okay.
up and comers, models, fighters.
And was this all with your partner?
In the beginning, no. Towards the end, yes.
Okay.
We had split up by that time.
Did you have an office?
Yes.
Where was that?
It was on Ventura Boulevard.
How long were you in that business as an adult entertainment manager?
Like I said, probably about 15 years, 17 years, something like that.
And that would take us till when in your life?
2015, about 2015.
All right.
Yeah, about 2015 or so.
Now, there was a witness who testified in this case, Roger Brown. Did you know Mr. Brown?
I do.
And how did you know Mr. Brown?
Met him at a party in 1998, I believe it was.
And to your knowledge, what field of employment was Mr. Brown in?
He was a general manager for a strip club.
Okay. Did you work for him in any way in supplying him with actresses or talent or dancers or anything?
He hired one or two for once to do a feature.
Okay. Did you remain friends with him?
Yes.
So you say that took us to about 2015, correct?
That's when I ended it. I got burnt out. Yes, so I didn't work anymore.
When did you first meet Monica Sementilli?
Probably 2016.
And when you first met her, how were you employed?
I was living off my residuals, and I was working at LA Fitness.
Okay. So LA Fitness is a gym, correct?
Yeah, correct.
When did you start working at LA Fitness approximately?
I think of 2015.
Okay.
I think
And any particular location?
the Woodland Hills location.
Okay. Do you remember the street or the address?
No.
Okay. Where were you living at that time?
At that time, I was living in Canoga Park.
House, apartment?
It was an apartment.
By that time, had you legally married someone else?
No. Oh, no. By that time, I was already. No, I was divorced.
Okay, and that was from your first wife?
No, that was from the one. That was from my last wife.
Okay.
My
And
last one.
Do you wish to state her name or not?
I do not.
Okay. Did she live with you in Los Angeles while you were an adult manager?
Yes.
What did she do?
She worked at a restaurant. She also worked as an actress. She was pretty well known.
When did you get divorced from her?
2014, 2015, something like that.
Okay. During the time that you were married to her, were you faithful to her?
Yes.
Okay. After you got divorced, then you began working at LA Fitness, is that right?
Right.
Okay. What was your first job there?
My only job there was I was a league director.
A league director.
A league, yeah. I was running a racquetball league.
Now, is this something you had done before?
No, never.
How'd you get into league racquetball league?
I'm a smart guy.
Okay. Well, did it? I won't comment on that. That was your first position at LA Fitness?
That's the first and only one.
Did you come up with the idea, or were they looking for a league manager? Or what?
Yeah, and I knew everybody who played racquetball over there, so I knew everyone. So it kind of was an easy walk-in job to do. It was a hobby, more of a hobby job type thing.
But you were paid?
Yeah, I was paid.
Okay. And what were your duties as the league director?
My job was just to run the leagues within Woodland Hills club, or actually for all LA Fitness, anybody who wanted to be in the league.
Is that where you were working when you first met Monica Sementilli?
Yes.
And how long, at some point, you began seeing her in more than a platonic way, is that correct?
Correct.
How long after you first met her did you first begin a romantic or sexual relationship?
I don't have dates, or there's a couple.
Well, a few weeks, a few months.
A couple of weeks.
Okay.
A couple of weeks.
Were you seeing anybody else at the time?
Not steady.
But you were seeing other women?
Not really. Not really. I mean, not really.
Okay.
It's a complicated answer.
Just asking the questions, do the best you can, okay?
Yeah.
Did you play around, to use that term?
Yeah, you could say that.
Okay. Had you made other acquaintances?
I did.
Okay. Did you meet any of her children?
Eventually, I did.
And do you recall their names?
Yes.
What are they?
Is it safe to say it?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Jessica and Isabel.
Okay. And did you meet them at the racquetball club at the LA Fitness?
I think I met the oldest one at the gym, and the youngest one somewhere. She never came to the gym, if I remember right.
So the oldest one was Jessica, correct?
Correct.
Did she play racquetball there at the gym?
No, she didn't play racquetball.
She didn't play at all?
Not that I remember. No.
Well, did her mother play, Monica?
Mother played, yeah.
So when they came to the gym, let's start with Jessica. What did she do there, if you remember?
She probably went out running on a treadmill, or
Your Honor, I'm going to object to the answer. Probably it sounds like it's based on speculation.
Sustain.
Moved is right.
Do you know what she did there? Did you actually see what she did at the LA Fitness?
no, I wasn't paying attention like that.
Well, you were paying attention to her mother.
Correct.
What about the younger girl, daughter, Isabella?
I don't remember seeing her at the gym.
Okay. How long were you how long after you first met Monica Sementilli did you meet her husband, Fabio?
Maybe a couple of months. Maybe a couple of months or so. That I'm not even sure about. I shouldn't be answering that because I don't know for sure.
Well, do you know for sure whether or not you met him?
I didn't meet him.
And how were you introduced to him?
I was introduced to him. This is my husband. And then he introduced himself. I introduced myself. And then he and I played racquetball.
Okay. How long after that did you first begin a more than platonic relationship with Monica Sementilli?
That I'm not sure about. But I think it was after I had met her that I had met him. So it was a while. So I met her first. We got involved. Hang on. We got involved.
Do you need some water or anything?
No.
All right.
I've
Go
been
on.
sitting in that ice cold cell for. So, and then I met him later.
All right. Was it after you met him that you got involved with her?
No, it was before.
Got involved with her before then?
I don't remember.
Okay.
Honestly, I don't. That's a tough question.
And I don't need a lot of detail, but can you describe the first time that you were romantically involved with her or discuss being involved outside of the racquetball situation?
It was just a conversation first. We just had a conversation. We just talked. And it took a little while before we got involved. I don't have a timeline or nothing like that, but it took a little bit. Took a little while. And I don't have timelines.
Okay. I assume you know the date of January 23, 2017?
I'm taking that's the day of the crime.
Yes.
Okay.
Day of the murder?
Yeah.
How long before then did you first begin seeing Monica Sementilli on a dating relationship, if we can put it that way?
I would say about roughly a year.
And did that begin on just going to movies, coming to your place? How did that start?
Yeah, we went out to have some lunch or something, and we talked, and that's how it kind of started off. And then eventually it got a little bit more serious. Invited her to the apartment. Again, I don't have timeline.
Okay. Eventually, you engaged in sexual conduct with her?
Yes.
How often did you see Monica?
It was sporadic. It was scattered. It would all depended on her time, on her schedule.
Let me ask you a separate question, if I can. Do you know an app, phone app by the name of Viber, V-I-B-E-R?
Yes.
Okay. Can you tell us what your understanding of Viber was in 2015?
Viber was a text app that the whole world used to text each other.
All right. How was it different than, say, Apple or some other text device?
I wouldn't know. I used it because somebody introduced it to me months before that, or even a year before that. I liked it. I enjoyed it. So that's why I used it.
All right. That was before you even met Monica, is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Did you use the app at that time for any reason of secrecy or keeping your communications private?
Never.
Did you ever discuss the Viber app or introduce Monica to it?
Actually, I did. If I remember right, I think I did.
And did you tell her that you were using it and that she should use it as well?
I told her I was using it. It was a fun app to use because you could do pictures and stuff. So yeah, I said, so I introduced her to it.
And to your knowledge, did she download it?
Yes, she did.
So why did you use Viber with Monica Sementilli as opposed to some other app?
That was the one I had been using for a while. So I've had it in my system for a while.
And how long after you had begun your romantic relationship with her did she download and start using the Viber app?
That I don't know. I wouldn't know. I wouldn't have any clue.
Did you did you endeavor to keep the sexual relationship with Monica Sementilli secret?
I did.
And was that her desire as well?
Yes.
How did you go about keeping it secret?
Every way possible. Not letting anybody see anything, hear anything, detect anything. I did my best to keep it that way.
Would you would she still be playing racquetball at the LA Fitness while this was going on?
Yes.
And what about her daughters? Did they continue to go to LA Fitness while this was going on?
Yes.
So we're now in 2016, is that correct?
Correct.
How often would you say that you saw Monica Sementilli during that period?
Again, it was very sporadic, so it could be once a week, once every 2 weeks, or 3 times a week. It all depends on who's doing what between the both of us.
And how did you determine who was doing what? In other words, how did you determine when you would see her?
She called the shots on that based on her schedule.
So how would you find out what her schedule was on any particular day?
Just usual conversation. Would tell me I got this going on. I'm going to Ralph's. I'm going here. I'm going to Starbucks. That type of thing. Or I'm free. I got this amount of time to see you. It just varied. It just varied all over the place.
And did you also engage in that type of activity, trying to find out what she was doing by communicating with her?
Yeah, I let her talk. I just listened because she was pretty good about letting me know what was going on with her.
All right. Now, did she let you know what was going on with her on a steady basis?
Yeah, pretty much.
Every day of the week?
Not every. Yeah. If she could manage to call me or text me, yeah.
Now, you knew her husband was working, correct?
Yeah, I did.
Did you know how he was employed at that time?
At the time, when everything first started, I knew he worked. I didn't know what he did.
Well, didn't you ask her what her husband did?
Nah, No, not really. I mean, I knew he worked. I didn't ask because I really didn't care.
Well, how were you able to arrange to see her in secret if you didn't know how her husband or where he was working or when he was working?
I trusted her to tell me.
Okay.
Eventually, she told me. She explained it, but at first, no, I didn't know.
Okay. So tell me just in summary, your day starts, did you know ahead of time, like a week or a month, when you would be able to see her? Or was it a daily thing?
It was sometimes she would let me know he was going out of town if she knew in advance. Sometimes it was very sporadic, like she had a little bit of time. It just was all over the place, it was all over the place.
Was it your goal to keep this relationship secret?
Oh, absolutely.
And what was her attitude about keeping it secret?
It was mainly her as the one that wanted to keep it secret, so I agreed with her.
Did she make that clear to you?
Yes.
Did that involve,
I'm going to object.
I'll allow that.
did that involve communicating with an encrypted app?
It involved talking on Viber.
And,
I don't know if it's encrypted or not. I'm assuming it is.
Well, your desire was to keep those communications private, correct?
Yes.
And how would you communicate normally? Would it be by text, phone, or Viber?
It was always Viber. It was always Viber.
So on any particular day, did you know ahead of time whether you were going to see her or not?
No, it was random. It was random.
And what was it based on? Her communicating with you, or you with her, or both?
Now, during a normal conversation when we text each other, it'll be something like, what are you doing today? Or I'm free. We can have coffee, or we can meet here. I'm going shopping there, or can I come over? It's just random. It's very random.
And we're still talking about 2016, is that correct?
Correct.
Did you keep your relationship with her secret from your friends?
From my racquetball friends, for a while, yes.
And how did you do that?
Just didn't mention it.
And when you went out, would you go out alone with her or with others?
At first, it was just she and I.
Mr. Baker, let me ask you this, in all honesty. Were you seeing anyone else on the side while you were seeing Ms. Sementilli?
The day I got involved with Monica, I cut everything off. I didn't see anybody else no more.
So you had been seeing someone at the time you began your relationship with Ms. Sementilli, is that correct?
I wasn't seeing anybody. I was, like you said earlier, I was playing field, but I wasn't even playing field. I can't even call it that. I can't even call it that. No.
Who were your good friends, if you had any, at the time you began seeing Monica?
I had a few.
Can you tell us who they were?
I don't want to mention names.
Well, did they testify in this case?
I don't know because I don't know who testified.
Okay. All right, maybe we'll broach that subject some other time. Did you have a best friend at that time?
Okay. Yes.
Can you tell us who that was or not?
Hang on. I'm sure it's going to come up again. Yes. There's two of them.
Okay.
It's Roger's one.
Roger Brown?
Yes. He's
Okay,
one.
you know he's testified in this case.
Okay. I don't know that. I didn't know that.
Okay.
And Birdsong.
Alfred Birdsong.
Yes.
He has not testified in this case.
Okay.
Did you know Mr. Birdsong before you began seeing Monica Sementilli?
Yes.
And how long had you known Mr. Birdsong, or that, or when he first became your friend? Can you tell us that?
I met him in 1983.
You seem to remember that year. Was there anything special about that?
It was my first year in Europe.
And Where was he living at that time?
He was in Europe also. He just got assigned there.
He was in the...
I promised the jury a break. We're going to take our afternoon break. It's time for 15 minutes. The admonition applies. Mr. President, Mr. Baker is still under oath. You may continue, Mr. Levine.
Mr. Baker, we left off when you first began your, I'll say, non-platonic relationship with Monica Sementilli. You remember the first time you engaged in sexual acts with her?
I don't remember exact dates, no.
And I don't want dates, but do you remember where that occurred?
Yeah, in my apartment.
Okay. And can you tell us how that first began, how you knew that she was available or free or whatever?
Just being a man, being around for a while, you could tell if somebody's interested, likes you a lot. So it's just kind of a feeling, just a feeling.
Okay. So you had a feeling that she was interested in you sexually, correct?
In something, yes. So sexually, personally, something, for sure.
All right. And you felt the same way?
I did.
How did you communicate that to her?
By her being with me, just going to lunch with me and talking to me, and the laughing, the smiling. And,
So where would you go to lunch? What types of places?
Little restaurants around the gym, and that's mainly the same place, like little restaurants, little Thai places, little because I like Asian food, so we used to go there a lot.
Okay. And would you meet her there? Would you pick her up? Did she pick you up? How'd that work?
We would meet. We would meet. Most of the time we would meet. In the beginning we would meet because we didn't want to be seen in public together at the same time.
Was that her desire, yours, or both?
It was hers, and I agreed with her.
Did you agree to keep it secret?
I did.
But did you tell anybody that you had a girlfriend or someone
Not
on the
at first.
side or anything like that?
No, not at first. It took a while. I waited a long while.
Well, how long a while would you estimate you waited before you let anyone know that you had someone on the side, so to speak?
I'm thinking about maybe 6 months, 8 months. It's just an estimate.
Okay. So would that have been before the end of the year or Christmas time, 2016?
Yes, before.
And the relationship began in 2016, is that what you said?
Right, I think
About what month?
February, January, February, something like that.
You remember?
Oh, January, yeah, January.
Okay.
That's when I met her.
When you engaged in sexual relations, where did that take place?
In my apartment,
And that was located where?
Canoga Park.
Would you meet there? Would you take her? Did she take you? How'd that work?
We'd meet there. I'd tell her where to go, where to park. She could park her car, just come up.
Remember the address?
Not anymore.
Street?
It's Independence.
Okay. What kind of vehicle were you driving at that time?
I was driving a Mustang or a Expedition.
Do you recall what kind of vehicle she was driving?
She's either driving a Mustang or a pickup truck.
And again, how did you communicate to let each other know you would meet somewhere?
Using texting, usually Viber,
All right.
or a phone call, a direct phone call.
Okay. But a direct phone call would be easy to trace, isn't that right?
Yeah, because there was really nothing going on, but...
What about when things started going on? Did you use just Viber or did you use other means?
Actually, now that you brought it up, we used Viber because Viber had a phone. You can actually use their phone. They had a phone set up where you could use the phone itself on a system. Now that I thought of it, now when you said that, it just kicked in.
I'm not real clear on this because I don't know this stuff as well as others. Would you use your regular phone and then have the Viber app? Could you use that as a regular phone? Or
Yes, that's what it was. So we used Viber a lot to talk too.
I mean, could you talk or did you have to send text messages?
You can do both on that app.
All right. And how did she get that app? Did you tell her how to do that?
Yeah, I told her to download it and how to use it.
So during that period, and you know that the murder of Fabio took place the following January, correct?
Okay?
So were you seeing her about a year before he was murdered?
Yes.
Did she ever indicate to you That she was going to leave him for you?
We talked about it, and it didn't seem like it was gonna, it didn't seem like it was really gonna happen.
Why not?
I don't know. I mean, I didn't push it because I don't want to run her away.
So did she talk to you about, ever tell you that she would divorce her husband for you?
We touched on it lightly, but I could tell that she wasn't going to do that. That wasn't going to happen.
And eventually, did that become one of the reasons why you decided to murder him?
I murdered him because I wanted her.
Well, you kind of had her already, but not the way you wanted, or what?
Absolutely. I didn't have her the way I wanted her. I wanted to have easier access. I wanted her to be around me and with me. More, like all the time.
When you first started seeing her on the side, did you go on dates with places with other friends of yours or friends of yours?
You mean dates, as in the romantic
Well,
dates?
did you go to dinner? When you went to dinner, was always just, or lunch, was it always the two of you, or did you ever go with other friends of yours?
Eventually, we did go with other friends of mine. You talking about with Monica? You talking about?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
Does Ron Ray ring a bell?
Who?
Ron Ray?
Yes.
Sheila Salikian?
Yes.
And Ricardo? Remember Ricardo?
Yes. Like I
Matt
said,
Nurse?
eventually. Who?
Matt Nurse? Remember him?
I didn't go on a date with him, but I do remember him.
No.
I mean, not a date with him, but with him to go.
So, you would go and take her on dates or events with your friends, but I take it never with her friends. Is that a fair statement?
Yes.
All right. Is that because you wanted to keep it secret?
That's what I would assume.
Well,
I knew that's what it was. I knew that's what it was.
So at any time, did she tell you that anyone else in her family or her friends knew about you?
No.
That's the way she wanted to keep it?
Yes.
So tell me how, on a typical day, you would make arrangements to see her. Would it be in advance, or would it be on a moment's notice on a daily basis?
So we're old.
It could be either or. It depends on what was going on for the day. Like if it was an advanced thing, if she knew of something that he was doing something, or she was available for whatever reasons, because I'm fighting the schedule with her whole family. So, and then the other time when it's instant, it's more like, what are you doing? And how? Good morning. How you doing? I got some time here. I got some time there. It was kind of sporadic. It was all over the place.
In Los Angeles, was the sex always at your location, your residence?
For the most part, yeah. Well, yeah. For the most part, most of the time.
And who decided how the relationship would go? In other words, did you let her do her own thing? Were you the one who decided, or how did that work?
I guess we both kind of decided, really. We both decided. I mean, one would take the lead, I would take the lead. It's a relationship. It's a relationship.
Okay. Did you ever tell her what to do?
Well, sometimes, yeah. Sometimes.
Give me an example.
Take your clothes off. Something like that. That's something I would tell her to do. Or, I mean, it just varied. It's just a feeling. It's just something you just feel at the moment. It's just all kinds of stuff. I'm talking, if you're talking about on a sexual basis, yes. But sometimes it would like, let's go here. Let's go do this. Let's go work out. Or let's go. It depends on what subject you're talking about. What subject are you talking about?
Sexually.
All right. I narrowed it down.
Did you treat her the same way you had treated prior girlfriends or wives, or not?
Sometimes.
So describe how you treated her sexually in terms of what you would do.
In the beginning, it was, it's just the traditional, the traditional stuff that everybody does. And
Did that lead to something else?
well, it leads, after a while you do the same old thing. After a while, it tends to get boring. So, I would
You're under oath, so...
I know. I'm watching my words. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm watching my words. It was all a feeling. It was all based on what was going on and how we felt. So sometimes I would say it would be from take your clothes off, or it could be from I want to see you naked in the car, or something like that. It just varied. It all varied how the feeling was, how she reacted, what I wanted, how I felt. If I felt like I wanted to, it depends on the timing, what was going on, if we had time to do stuff. It all depends. It all depended on a lot of stuff.
Did you try to push the boundaries of what you were doing?
Boundaries?
In other words, would you order or tell her to have sex in public?
No, not in public. No. Not
Well,
in public.
outside of your house, for instance, or your residence, in the car.
Yeah, we've done that. We would do that. We would go to a restaurant and just be spontaneous and have sex in the car, or have sex on an off ramp, on an overwalks where you overwalk on a highway. It would be nobody there. I'm like, come here. I wanted to keep it different for her. I wanted her not to be the same old that everyone does. So
Kind of fulfill her fantasies?
well, yeah, I just wanted to feel her out to see, where she wanted to go. I wanted her to have fun with everything, not just sexually, just everything. Sex was part of it, but everything. I wanted her to enjoy her life, period. Sex was a small part of it.
What led you to believe she wasn't enjoying life up to that time?
Because when we went out and when I took her places, I can tell she had really enjoyed herself, and she wasn't working, or she didn't feel like she was under obligation doing the family thing. She could be herself, and it made me feel good to see that.
Did that include be herself sexually?
That too.
So was it your goal to fulfill her fantasies?
My goal was to make her happy, whatever that was.
No matter what?
Sexually, platonically, personally, everything. That was my goal.
So give me an example of where you would engage in some kind of sexual conduct where outside of your residence.
Outside of a bar, we play pool. We'll go out to in the parking lot. She'll win a game. She wins a game. I'll lose a game. She wins. She wins me. As stupid as that sounds.
Well, the prize was some kind of sexual act the other one would perform, or what?
The prize is me. That's I'm not a prize, but that's the prize. If she was happy, I'm happy. That's the bottom line on that.
Did you know at any time when her husband Fabio would be out of town on business?
Yes, she would let me know he's out of town, so that way we could spend a little bit more time together. But it was never like overnighters or nothing like that, because she would never leave the house overnight like that.
So was there some time by which she had to be home every time you saw her?
She would always try to be home for her daughters.
Does that mean dinner time or some other time? What?
For whatever time it was. I guess it was dinner time, or maybe school, or just being home. She would tell me, I just want to be home for them when they get home. She would always tell me that.
So
and especially in the beginning.
So still important for her to keep it secret?
Yes.
So is it fair to say, at least in the beginning, there was no overnighters?
No overnighters, no.
Would she get home by dinner time? Was that one of the rules?
She would be home way before dinner, just to make sure she had dinner cooked and all that stuff.
Kind of two separate lives.
Yeah.
Did this ever evolve, and I'm talking about prior to the time that you killed Fabio, did this ever involve a trip out of town?
We took a trip. You said beforehand?
Before Fabio's death. Ever go to Vegas, for instance? Las Vegas?
I think we did.
Okay. Who paid for that? Do you recall?
It was a combined thing.
And did you ever go, let me ask first, when you went to restaurants, for instance, in Los Angeles, at times did you go with friends of yours?
When all of us went together, you're saying? Is
Yes.
that what you're saying?
Like you and another couple.
Yeah, this was later down the line, yeah.
Okay. But we're still talking about prior to Fabio's murder.
Okay, all right, yeah, I'm with you.
Did you go out with other couples, friends of yours?
Just one,
Who?
just Ricardo and Sheila.
Okay.
I think that's the only one.
And how would you tell them, or what would you tell them your relationship was with Monica?
That we were seeing each other. I had come to trust Ricardo and Sheila, and they were good, pretty good friends of mine. So I felt comfortable with that.
Did you tell them that she had a husband?
Yes, they knew that. They knew that.
Well, they only knew it if one of you told them, right?
Well, I think they knew that beforehand. I'm pretty sure because I didn't have to tell them that. Because in the league, everybody knows everybody's business, so everybody kind of knew that Monica was married already.
Okay. But did everybody know that she was seeing you?
No.
Okay. How often during a week would you see her, if you can put a number on that? Or did that vary?
It varied a lot. It varied. Sometimes I wouldn't see her at all. Sometimes I see her 3 times a week. It was sporadic.
Now, during that time, I assume you told her you were faithful to her?
Yes,
Were you?
I was.
So at any time during your relationship with her, and I'm talking about before or after the murder of her husband, did you ever cheat on her?
No, I didn't.
So you were not seeing anybody else on the side?
No, from the time I met her and I got in a relationship with her, I didn't go outside of anything of her.
Did you use more than one email address or phone number or anything of that nature during the time that you were seeing her to keep it secret?
I did.
Tell us what you did to do that.
Well, the emails and texts, hang on, the emails I use sometimes were just so they won't be mine. Just so they won't be mine, I would use different emails. I had a whole bunch of emails, for business, for personal stuff, all kind of stuff. So it all depends. But for her, I would use different email at times. Let me see. The text stayed the same. The Viber stayed the same. Yeah, it's just the emails. Just
More
the
than
emails.
one phone, or just always one phone, or what?
I used the same phone with her. With her, I used the same phone.
What about with others?
With other people, I had another phone. I always keep an extra phone. Always kept it.
So, did you have one phone for her?
It was my regular phone, the one I used for everyday use here. And I had another phone which I kept as a possible throwaway for anything, just for anything. It doesn't mean I was doing anything criminal at the time. It kept an extra phone.
Did you ever go to her house?
Yes.
And I'm talking about before Fabio's murder.
Yes.
Can you tell us the first time and when that might have been?
I don't remember.
Why did you go to her house?
To see her, of course, to see her.
How did you know no one else would be home?
Because she would let me know that nobody's home.
Did you ever run and go there when someone else was there?
I don't know. I don't
Ever
know.
sleep over there and get caught by one of her daughters?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Tell me about that. How did that happen?
Got drunk. I got drunk.
With her or without her?
No, just me.
Okay.
Just me. I was drunk. Couldn't drive. She asked me to stay. Oh, she didn't want me to go home. And she said if I stay quiet, I could just stay. I would sleep it off there.
So you were at her house that day?
That night. It was a night. I think it was a night or something.
Where were her kids and husband?
I'm thinking maybe Fabio was out of town. I'm not sure.
And her daughters?
And I don't know, because Jessica walked in when I saw her get up, and she screamed and I screamed at the same time. And
In the morning?
it was in the morning.
And do you know what was told to her to explain
No.
while you were there?
I wasn't told.
Did you get out? Get out of there?
Yes, I did. I let her know that, I let Monica know that we had a little accident, that she came in the room, Jessica came in the room, and I just went ahead and left.
Where was Jessica at that time? Was she still there?
Yeah, no, she left. She left the room. She said, "Oh, I'm so sorry," and she walked out. So I'm sorry too, and I got, you know.
Did you tell her any story, or leave that to Monica?
I didn't talk to her.
So you left.
Yeah.
Any other times that you were at her house before the murder?
Before the murder, maybe once or twice more. I'm not sure how many times, but a couple of times, once or twice more.
Let me ask you this, Mr. Baker. In your communications with Monica Sementilli, did you ever ask her or tell her to send you any kind of explicit or nude or so-called related photographs?
I did.
Give me an example.
Okay. I would say, "You're beautiful. Send me a picture of yourself, because you know you're beautiful to me." And so I let her be. And she said, "Like what?" I said, "Be creative. You know, think of something." I said, "You know, send whatever you want." It's just sexting. That's all it is. It was just sexting, just to keep it interesting.
All right. And
So
did
she would send me what she wanted to send me.
Did she do so?
Yeah, she did.
And without being necessarily too explicit, can you tell us what kind of photos they were? Was she dressed? Was she nude? Was she?
Both. They were both.
And how were they communicated to you?
They were either sent by Viber, because Viber is a good way to send pictures. It's the best way to send pictures. Is Viber.
And when you got them and opened them, were you able to save them or delete them, or what would you do with them?
Some I'd save, some I'd just throw away, because it was just to get her to feel herself and enjoy herself, and you know, I wanted her to feel good about herself, because she was beautiful to me.
And that's the way you wanted her to feel good about herself, being free sexually?
That's one of the ways. There's more ways than just that.
Did she always comply with your requests or demands?
Yeah, most of the time.
Did you ever tell her what would happen if she didn't?
I would never threaten her or nothing like that. I mean, I guess she could read my face, or read that. She kind of reads my face and see if I'm disappointed or not. And I guess she doesn't want me to be disappointed, so she'll do her best to, you know, do what I ask her to do, or what stuff like that. But yeah, there was no threats or nothing like that.
I don't mean physical threats, but disappointment or anything of that nature?
You know, like she probably saw my disappointment, or saw me unhappy, or you know, because sometimes I would do stuff to keep it interesting, and I would kind of set stuff up, and sometimes a lot of alcohol is involved, because she's a very stubborn person at times, so the alcohol kind of loosens that up a little bit.
Well, was she a regular drinker with you?
It depends. If we were going out someplace, I wanted her to loosen up. I wanted her to kind of relax a little bit. So you know, I would let her drink a little bit, get her relaxed and have some fun.
Was she able to hold her alcohol or not, in your opinion?
She could hold her alcohol, but she still, you could tell there's a difference, because she would really loosen up and start laughing a lot more and get a little looser, and she wouldn't be so tense.
Would this be in public?
It would be everywhere. At my place, in public, we went out. We went, like I said, we went to restaurants, we went to bars, went to play pool, play racquetball. I mean, everywhere. We did everything.
Did you ever interact with other people at those locations?
Yes.
Give me an example.
Well, we'll go to a bar or a club, and I would tell her, I'm not a dancer. She's a dancer. She can dance. I want her to go out there and dance and sing, and I'll tell her, if someone asks you to dance, feel free. I have no problem with it. I'm not the jealous type. And go have fun. And she would just go out there and have fun. Didn't care who was dancing with her, and she would just dance and have a good time. So whoever it was, that's what would happen.
And what about her engaging in public in any kind of sexual way with somebody? Did you ever tell her to do that?
In public?
Well, outside of your residence.
Oh, okay.
On the street, in a bar, booth, car, anything of that nature?
I had set up some things to find out whether or not she'd be willing to try anything like that. And I got her a little bit drunk.
Like a threesome, you mean?
No, it wasn't a threesome. No, it wasn't a threesome. It was something simple. I just wanted to see how she'd react a little bit. And I wanted to see if she'd be okay. And I got a little bit drunk beforehand. And I told her I'd set up a little massage for her just to see how she'd react. This is early on, just to see how she'd act.
So what happened?
And the massage went great, you know.
Who had the massage?
She did.
From who?
Somebody I hired to do it.
And where did that take place?
At the guy's place who was doing it.
All right.
So and I'm trying to remember.
Were you present?
Was I present?
Yes.
Yes, I was, just to make sure everything was smooth, because she decided she didn't want to do it, or she couldn't go, you know, she didn't want the massage or something like that, and I just wanted her comfortable. And I know if I'm around, she's going to be comfortable with it. But she was comfortable because I had gave her, you know, I gave her some wine to drink before we started.
Did that involve any sexual conduct between her and the masseuse? Masseur?
She's a beautiful woman. She's a beautiful woman, and I told her, masseur, I said, you know, whatever you guys do, that's on you guys. So he wanted to push it, and because I could tell he was excited. So, and she was already kind of under the influence of alcohol, so it kind of flowed that way.
Was alcohol always involved in your
No.
sexual acts or
No.
exploits?
No. Sometimes it was just me and her, just not doing nothing.
What about when you involved others? Did you have to get her drunk first?
That was rare.
Take our afternoon adjournment until tomorrow at 9 a.m. The admission applies not to discuss this case among yourselves. If anyone else or former express any opinion to the cause, it's when I submit it to you. Have a good evening.